Hey everyone, today we're stepping into the ring to finally settle one of the biggest debates in fitness. When it comes to fat loss, what's better, a long, steady workout or a short, all-out blast? You see it everywhere, the advice is confusing, the marketing is even worse. So we're going to cut through all that noise and break down what the science actually says. Let's do this.
I'm sure you've heard this a million times. High-intensity interval training, or HIIT, is the magic bullet for fat loss. The ultimate shortcut. It's famous for being super quick and super tough. But is it really the undisputed champion of burning fat? That's the exact question we're digging into.
All right, so in one corner, we have the seasoned veteran, moderate intensity exercise. And in the other corner, we have the explosive challenger, vigorous intensity, which is where HIIT lives. Before we can declare a winner, we've got to get to know them a little better.
First up, let's talk about moderate intensity. The easiest way to think about this is the talk test zone. You're moving, you can feel your heart rate is up, but you could still hold a conversation without totally gasping for air. Now, if you want to get technical, you're working at about 50 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. It's all about that steady, sustainable effort.
So what does this actually look like in real life? Well, the general guideline is to aim for about 150 minutes every week. You could easily break that down into 30 minutes, 5 days a week. We're talking things like a really brisk walk, a casual bike ride, maybe dancing around your living room, or even just mowing the lawn. It's the kind of stuff that's pretty easy to fit into your life and stick with.
Okay, now for our other contender, vigorous intensity. This is where you are really pushing yourself. We're talking 70 to 85% of your max heart rate, sometimes even higher. At this point, you're breathing hard, you're breathing deep, and you can only spit out a word or two at a time. This is the home turf of HIIT.
And here is the big draw, the main selling point. You only need half the time. The recommendation here is just 75 minutes a week. That could be just 15 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Think running, swimming laps, cycling hard, jumping rope. The trade-off is incredibly clear. Way less time, but a whole lot more effort.
So, we know our contenders. Now, it's time for the main event. Scientists have put these two head-to-head, but they did it in a really specific way. They matched the total amount of work done. This is so important. It means they had people burn the exact same number of calories, let's say 300 calories, whether they did it slowly over a long workout or really fast in a short one.
So, with the playing field totally level and the same number of calories burned in the end, who actually comes out on top for pure fat loss? Is it the slow and steady tortoise or the fast and furious hare?
Well, a huge meta-analysis from 2023, that's a study that looks at dozens of other studies, gave a surprisingly blunt answer. And I'm quoting here, HIIT is not superior to continuous aerobic training in reducing body fat. I mean, that just perfectly highlights the gap between what you hear in fitness marketing and what the science actually finds.
Yep, you heard that right. When the total calorie burn is the same, there is no meaningful difference in how much total body fat people lose. It is a statistical tie. The whole idea that HIIT has some secret, magic fat-melting property is pretty much a myth. It probably comes from the fact that it feels so much harder, so you think it must be doing more, right? Well, for fat loss, not necessarily.
Okay, so if it's a tie for fat loss, you might be thinking, great, case closed, it doesn't matter what I do. But hold on, because this is where the story gets really interesting. While the number on the scale might not change differently, your body, it definitely knows the difference. The real distinctions are about what you gain, not just what you lose. Now, let's look at the tail of the tape. For time efficiency, vigorous exercise is the hands-down winner. It's not even a contest. When we look at improving your heart health, things like your overall cardio fitness and your cholesterol, both are good, but vigorous exercise usually gives you a bigger, better improvement. But here's a really important one. For just sticking with it, especially for older adults, the steadier, moderate approach often wins out in the long run.
Let's zero in on that cardio fitness point for a second. We're talking about something called VO2 max. The simplest way to think about it is like the horsepower of your body's engine. It's the maximum amount of oxygen you can use during really intense exercise, and it's one of the best signs of your overall cardiovascular health. Vigorous training, and especially HIIT, gives that VO2 max a much bigger boost, and that translates into a stronger heart and just better endurance for everything you do.
And is one more subtle but pretty important advantage for the high-intensity team. Some research suggests that vigorous exercise might be a little bit better at getting rid of visceral fat. That's the really dangerous inflammatory fat that wraps around your internal organs.
It's not a night and day difference, but it's another potential check in the plus column for pushing yourself harder.
Okay, so we've got all this info. It's a tie for overall fat loss, but there are these really key differences in fitness gains and practicality. So how in the world do you pick your winner? This is where we take the science out of the lab and apply it to your actual life to build your winning strategy.
This really breaks it down pretty clearly. The moderate path is a fantastic choice if you're new to this whole fitness thing, if you prefer longer and steadier workouts, or if your main goal is just to stay consistent week after week. But if you are always short on time, you really want to max out your cardio fitness, and you actually enjoy that feeling of pushing your limits, then vigorous training is definitely for you.
But you know what? After all the debate, all the science, all the comparisons, the real secret to fat loss isn't about the intensity you choose on any one day. The absolute best, most effective workout on the entire planet is the one you actually do, week in and week out. The bottom line is, consistency is king.
And that brings us to the final and honestly the most important question of all. Forget what's optimal on a spreadsheet for just a minute and ask yourself this. What kind of movement will you actually look forward to? The one that makes you feel good, that actually fits into your life, and the one you can see yourself doing months from now. Because that is your real winner. Thanks for watching.